Hey, thank you very much for your patience as we worked out some technical issues. I'm Carlos,
And I'm Maria.
and we are revisiting the Mania. And this week we are revisiting WrestleMania 13, and we have a guest, Doyle from Podcast Championship Wrestling. Thank you very much for joining us, Doyle.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm coming live from sunny South Philadelphia in the Cat Cave.
Ooh, the Cat Cave.
That's really funny.
Yeah, nice. So, do you have like any villains that you go against?
Some of the neighbors were not so hot on, but I would say no. We're benevolent.
Okay, good to hear. So we have WrestleMania 13. The
Yeah.
tagline for this
13.
is Heat, which I still understand how this comes into any type of theme for WrestleMania 13.
Mhm.
But I guess we'll have to bring the heat
Mm.
into this revisit and get started here. So this one emanates from the suburbs of Chicago, Illinois,
Yeah.
out in Rosemont.
How far away is that?
It's pretty far away. It's
Oh,
like 30 to 45 minutes, depending
Oh,
on
yeah,
traffic,
okay.
even longer.
yeah, it's about 20 miles
We have
or
a lot of
25 miles from us where we are located. So it's like basically us driving out to O'Hare. It's like right by O'Hare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah, we
So
have a lot of conventions there. They'll have comic conventions. What is it? Not C2E2. That's at McCormick Place.
yeah, and they had WizCon, but then they renamed Wizard World into something else, and I don't remember who bought it. And yeah, but they also have like those sports memorabilia ones that like former or current
Oh, okay, yeah.
players go to, and then they sign for like
I got
hours and hours.
Yeah. So I'm just curious because now that you're talking about the heat, what was heat related during WrestleMania 13 besides the pyro?
When I first thought about Heat, I thought this was gonna be like, because I don't remember actually watching this one. So this is like the period break where I don't get to watch WrestleManias for a little bit.
Right.
So I thought maybe like at first glance of this tagline, it would have been the introduction of Kane, Undertaker's quote unquote brother that
Yeah.
died in a fire.
Mm.
That hasn't happened yet, right?
Yeah, it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
It happens next year. So
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, we get a really nostalgic intro. So I'm not sure if you guys noticed, we get clouds of, I think they said clouds of hatred and anger have eclipsed the heavens, and they call the Undertaker a benevolent force.
mhm.
WrestleMania, the showcase of the immortals. So I thought that intro was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and we get
wonder
a
if
few
the
comments. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I wonder if the Heat was because this show notoriously got completely scrapped at the last minute and kind of had to get rewritten on the fly. Uh,
Oh.
and so I wonder if Heat was where they were going, and when they had to
Then
pivot
they
over here, they just never changed the
they should have
tagline.
changed it, but
Because
I
I mean,
can see that. I thought that was
we
like
were looking
follow.
at Michael's heart too.
mhm.
Um, but of course, Sean loses his smile. Endor has a knee injury that he may or may not have been faking. So then WrestleMania plans go,
Yeah, I couldn't find anything to confirm his injury.
yeah,
Or
exactly. To this day, it's one of those like, was he really
yeah,
injured? Was he
and
not?
I know that even though they really didn't get along for WrestleMania 12, it still
Mhm.
ends up being a great match.
Right.
So it's one of those like maybe they just couldn't find a way to work with each other because maybe Vince was trying to convince Sean to drop it to Brett, and he was like, no, because there's a lot of animosity towards each other,
Oh
in
yeah.
particular Brett with Sean. So
Yeah. So this was March 23rd, 1997. And like
mhm.
you guys said, at the Rosemont Horizon,
Mhm.
now named the Allstate Arena.
Yes.
Yep.
So I mean, they haven't really done much to this, and I'm not sure exactly why Vince is always obsessed with coming and bringing us Raw and SmackDown and NXT shows and other PLEs to this particular venue instead of like I think he's only used the United Center like once,
Mm,
like 3 years ago, and like it was one of those holiday spectacular shows that they have around
oh,
Christmas time.
fun.
I could speculate on two reasons, maybe. I know the acoustics at the Rosemont Horizon are supposed to be notoriously amazing. I guess it has a wooden roof or a wooden ceiling or something. And I've heard Stone Cold in particular talk about how wonderful the feedback you get from the crowd is in that building.
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
Also, too, I imagine it is much cheaper to rent than the United Center is.
Oh, it probably is. Yeah.
So I bet you the profit margin in Rosemont versus the United Center is probably much greater. Those would be my two guesses.
All right.
I mean, those are good guesses.
Yeah, I mean, you do have a background in that particular pricing and venues, and how much it takes to put on a show and things like that.
That's pretty cool. So with match 1, should we get into it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get it started. We got match 1, a 4-way to have the winners move on to face the champions of Owen Hart and the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, on the next following day at Raw.
Okay.
So it's but this is like
this WrestleMania had a free for all. Did you guys get it?
Yes, that was like the dark match, right? Did you get to see it, Doyle? I haven't had a chance to watch it.
It's on Daily Motion.
Oh, okay.
All
right. Do you want to give us what you thought about that dark match?
Yeah, I mean, not much on it. There was one thing though. It was Billy Gunn versus Flash Funk.
Right.
Who both are still going today. Billy Gunn just turned 60.
Wow.
The other day. Flash Funk also pushing 60, better known as Too Cold Scorpio, of course. The match is whatever, but there's an ad for merchandise you can buy, right? And there's a hockey jersey, and it's $69.99, or a denim jacket, which is $99. And I was like, wow, that seems like a lot. So I looked on you can buy a Levi's today denim jacket for about $89, so cheaper. And $99.97 is worth $190 today. Imagine spending $190 on a jean jacket.
Wow.
Oh, Vince.
Memorabilia.
Vince.
All right.
Sounds very memorable.
Yeah, it's a 7-minute match, right? So anything that stuck out for you?
Oh no! I mean, I always loved Too Cold Scorpio, but he jobs out in this one. They didn't know what the hell they were doing with Billy Gunn. The New Age Outlaws hasn't started yet. This WrestleMania is really a turning point. I mean, you can argue that the Attitude Era either started a couple weeks before when Bret throws his hissy fit, or tonight, or anywhere between here and Survivor Series. But this is. The new generation is ending and the Attitude Era is starting.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
is a perfect example of that. He was a cowboy and suddenly ends up in the New Age Outlaws and DX, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I like to think that the Attitude Era actually kind of started when Shawn actually won the Iron Man match. Because of just the way of the bravado that Shawn has, and the way he's historically known to be in the locker room. And I think even though Bret does win, but he ends up losing it again to Undertaker, or to Bret Hart. I mean, to Psycho Sid.
Right.
It's more of like, it's not like you're the guy. It's more like to probably like bring that that gravitas, because of Bret being there he's been there since WrestleMania 2. So he's looking at 11, 12 WrestleManias that he's been, and he has all that, history with the company, with the older generation, and now kind of bridging the new generation.
Right.
But it's more like the new generation is like, forget you, Bret. We're just going to do this our way, and there's nothing you can do to stop it, because we're bringing in the money and the views. So we have the Godwins. And getting back to this first match, the Godwins with Hillbilly Jim.
Hillbilly Jim and I share a birthday, by the way.
Wow.
Oh.
My crowning achievement.
So should they change the song to "Don't Go Messing with the Country Doyle"?
Maybe.
Country Doyle. All right, and then a new tag team also debuting here: the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher. And then we have the
Mosh.
new Blackjacks with Bradshaw, in first introduction here at WrestleMania, and Barry Windham returns, but you might not recognize him, Maria, because he's got a new dye job. Instead of having his platinum blonde locks, he's now dark haired.
Yeah, I see these two guys, but just what was interesting to me is that they're not the first Blackjacks.
No, the original
They're the second
Blackjack.
set of.
Yeah, the Blackjack was a tag team, Blackjack Mulligan,
Mhm.
that was started by Barry Windham's father, and I forgot who else he was tagging with. Doyle?
Blackjack
Yeah.
Lanza.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the headbangers in this one. Mosh.
Wait, well, we missed one more tag team.
We do have another tag team. Sorry.
Doug Furnace.
Very
and
easy
Phil
to forget.
LaFon. Yeah.
There were so many, right?
Well, they didn't have a tag team name, but they
Oh,
did
that's
before.
right.
They did it before. I think Vince wanted to avoid confusion because we had the Can-Am connection. The Can-Am connection when Rick Martel and Tom Zank came into the WWF.
Yeah.
But these guys were known as the Can-Am Express because they had the same type of connection where one was Canadian, which was Phil LaFon, if you didn't realize that, and Doug Furnace was the American. So
okay, so we have a Can-Am connection, which is very popular, like in our podcast series.
Yeah, our
it's kind of
breakdown
interesting to
of-
see what's like exciting and what's not exciting to people. But that one was like a popular match for people to look up. So we have the Can-Am connection, and
this tag team is the Can-Am Express.
Can-Am Express
before it arrived to the WWF. Now,
okay. Canadians,
yeah,
and wrestling.
yeah. So this match, any thoughts of anyone stick out for you, Maria? Which guys are you rooting for in this 10-minute and 39-second match?
Well, like you said, it's a 4-way elimination match. Also, a tag can be made by any man, which is like very interesting to me.
Yeah, I think that's considered Texas Tornado rules at that point or something like that.
Oh, I like the name.
But they didn't actually mention that. Texas
Tornado rules.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm having fun with all like the tag team names and the different factions in wrestling. So what's exciting for me is the Headbangers, Mosh, Charles Warrington, and Thrasher, Glenn Ruth. So I thought they were pretty cool. I like their rock or headbanger personas. And there was like a lot of commentary about their outfits too. So
yeah, the King didn't know how to handle guys wearing dresses. Or
either did Vince. Like... One of the joys of this WrestleMania was Vince trying to explain the Headbangers because he had no fucking clue whatsoever.
Yeah.
And in fact, this is Vince's last turn in commentary on a WrestleMania.
Thank
God, it's just great listening to it. Especially knowing now we didn't really know that they were just kind of just starting to acknowledge that he was more than just an announcer. Of course, if you followed the steroid trials, you knew that already. But yeah, it's just such a joy because you know that he's the owner, but he's and just like all the we know that he hates sneezing now, and we know just all the weird shit that we know about Vince now.
What about the sneezing? I'm kind of curious.
Oh, he just notoriously like won't let people sneeze. He's got all kinds of weird.
He's like
stuff.
a germaphobe.
Really?
I think,
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, but I'm rooting for the Headbangers. I also like the Godwins.
The Godwins, okay. Yeah. Henry and Phineas, who I believe Henry was Master Blaster.
Is that his name?
In NWA.
That's
our first comment from our Facebook Live chat here from Raymond. Sneezing is a sign of weakness, according to Vince. He's like, oh, you're letting your soul escape. I will never let my soul escape. That's why I don't sneeze.
That's funny. I mean, but we get to see Thrasher wrestling his tag team partner Mosh, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually thought that I don't remember that being into like something later.
Yeah.
But I always thought about that because like, why don't people tag their partner enough in a tornado tag team?
And then just pin each other and you win.
Yeah.
Wait, but when you are doing a tornado tag team, are you like, whoa, and you go in a circle, or what does that mean?
No. Maybe. I think it's because it's supposed to like be like kind of chaotic where it feels like you're in a tornado. I think it's exactly.
There was a Royal Rumble where Axe was 1 and Smash was 2. and they kind of fought each other for 2 minutes, and then the third person came out, and they went back to being a team again and beat the
Yeah.
hell out of that person.
That is awesome. I like that Jerry says they told me if they win, they promise to pierce another body part, which I thought was just funny.
Yeah.
So, I like the addition of these commentators again. So
Yeah,
happy that they're
this
back.
is where you kind of see like the king like coming into his own of just getting those one-liners
Right.
in, and
What does he say? He says, "Your favorite hard rock group is Mount Rushmore."
yeah,
It's just awful, but it's so
yeah.
funny.
And
love
then
it.
Vince can't do that rapport with the king because he's just like, hey,
Yeah.
did they play with Tony Bennett?
Yeah, right.
You're
Yeah.
right.
You just that's the quip that Vince could get off only.
It's not as saucy.
No.
Yeah.
So I don't know to point out there was I think kind of like a little botch here when they get eliminated here to the Can-Am Express and the Godwins. Well, the Godwins get eliminated because one throws the ref, and we're just led to believe that the Can-Am Express gets counted out, but there's no count out from what I can actually hear. There's no one counting.
Yeah.
So that just leaves after that those two eliminations. It leaves the Headbangers with the new Blackjacks.
I thought Blackjack had a couple
Oh
of
no,
good
excuse me,
moves.
with the Godwins.
We
Yeah.
saw them do like a power slam and a leg drop, which was pretty awesome. Also we see Mosh tossed Thrasher into one of the Godwins, which was also a pretty cool move.
Yeah.
So I mean, they came out tussling in this match. I was pretty excited. What do you guys think about this match?
As
Barry
far
Windham,
as
man.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just say Barry Windham looked great.
Yeah.
He never made it really in the WWE, and
No.
he never lived up to his potential in the
Right.
NWA/WCW. He was a guy that just never seemed to be in the right place at the right time, but had
yeah.
all the talent in the world. Great
And they
look.
just kept booking him into stables. Like you
Yeah.
got to be part
Or
of the Four
just
Horsemen.
shitty
And
gimmick.
then
What
he
is
leaves.
Widowmaker or something. He always had a
Yeah.
shitty gimmick, and he had a couple runs in the WWE, but he just never stuck.
It happens.
I guess that's
wow. That's pretty interesting, though.
I mean, it just happens. Like sometimes you just miss your timing. Timing is everything.
Yeah, he was
Like-
just never in the right place at the right time.
Just like currently we can have that Drew McIntyre had the bad timing because
Sure.
they finally made him champion after he came back and signed back with WWE after having a good run in the Indies, and then coronavirus pandemic starts,
Okay.
and now they don't have anyone in the studio. I mean, in the live crowds because they can't tour. No one's having events at their stadiums.
Wow.
And so they just have. That's when everybody was able to, I guess, telecommute in to the performance center. So they had
I
those
remember
big
that.
screens.
Yeah,
Well, that was
everywhere.
before that,
seeing-
though.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
before they started doing that.
Oh my
Well, you'll
goodness.
get there, but I guess it's WrestleMania 37, which happens in front of no one,
Wow.
and it's weird as fuck.
I can imagine
Yeah.
because part of the thing is like feeding off the fans' vibes. The fans are pumped to see the good wins, so I noticed that. And what else?
The
What
Godwins.
what am I saying? Good wins?
The good ones. The Godwins. But yeah. So I think the win is good because the Headbangers, excuse me, was a good tag team, and it looks like they had like the most of the crowd. The crowd to me is not really into this or any of the matches until we get to maybe the Stone Cold and Bret Hart one.
Yeah.
But I like that when Henry comes in to break the pinfall, and he's stuck in the corner.
Right.
The other Headbangers going for the pin, but Henry does not make an attempt to break the pin.
Right.
At all. And even though he has the opportunity, but the Headbangers win, and they go on to face the winner of Owen Hart versus
Can we talk about the Headbangers' other
Yeah,
names? So they were also known as the Flying Nuns, the Guardians of Truth, the Sisters of Love, also the Spiders.
Yeah, and that's how they ended up keeping those skirts, those like mesh skirts,
Yeah.
because they're the Flying Nun thing.
I was really happy with this win. I mean, like you said, we see a win by the Thrashers, and I'm
The
satisfied with the
Headbangers.
pin. Oh, what am I calling
You call them the
One of them was
Thrashers?
saying it's trash.
Yeah, one
The
of them is Thrasher.
sorry,
It was
Mosh and Thrasher. There we go.
the Headbangers,
The
yes.
Headbangers. And I was satisfied with the pin and win. What about you, Doyle?
Well, yeah, I mean, this match is really emblematic of what I was talking about with the change of eras. You know, you got cowboys and farmers versus these alternative looking people, you know, and that's kind of where we're going. This is where we were and where we're going. But yeah, I mean, the Headbangers were fun. They were definitely the right team to win.
Right.
They keep mentioning Captain Lou Albano, who's sitting at
Yes.
ringside, but they don't show him until after the match. I don't know why you couldn't have just.
Oops.
Yeah, I don't know. They really didn't take that much.
Or don't show them.
Yeah.
Or, you know, just.
There's hardly any local celebrities. I wanted to point out.
Yeah, this is a pretty celebrity free.
Yeah.
Also, we get to see Honky Tonk Man. He came in for commentary, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's in the next match. So we'll
Yeah.
go ahead and wrap this up.
Oh,
Does anybody recommend this match or have a favorite for this match, or just should we move
I
on?
recommend you don't watch it.
What about you?
Yeah, it's just too garbled. It feels like it's it
once it
doesn't
gets
let
down
enough
to two
time for
teams,
those.
it gets better. But
Yeah,
it's
they should have just
fucking
had the Godwins or versus the Headbangers, but they
Yeah.
had this tournament going on because of the vacant tag team oh, not vacant, because they needed to get a number one contender, and you know, they
yeah,
should
it's
have
a
just
number one contenders match. But they hardly even mention that.
yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, at 10 minutes and 39 seconds, I actually recommend that you do watch it.
Oh, okay.
This is
First
one of
recommendation.
I like how they go right out and they start the wrestling right away.
The wrestling. Oh, we got the southern one on
They
here.
get right up in it really quick. I really had a good time seeing all these different tag teams and seeing the Headbangers kind of tussle for a little bit. I would recommend that you watch this. Revisit with us.
Okay.
Yep.
So moving on here, we have the WrestleMania debut of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Intercontinental Champion
I feel like I should do a clap for this one because I was really excited to see him.
versus the Sultan, who is managed by the Iron Sheik and Bob Backlund.
Yes.
Maria, this is your first introduction and for a WrestleMania debut for The Rock, known as Rocky Maivia.
Yes.
Now, the Maivia comes from his grandfather, who was High Chief Peter Maivia, in case you weren't aware of that.
Ooh.
And then we have the Sultan, who, if you did not know, is actually Fatu/Rikishi. So,
well, I mean, this is an exciting match. I'm a big fan of The Rock, Maivia. So thanks for telling me about that backstory. What we're looking at, third generation wrestling, in the ring. So I mean, I was pretty pumped to see him.
Yeah, and it's a family affair match, as our viewer Raymond has pointed out.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little emotional during this match.
All right, so
I did.
Let's go ahead and get started here. So, is there any doubt that we would say your favorite wrestler here would have been Rocky Maivia then?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'm rooting for The Rock because, like I said, we have 3 generations of wrestling champion in the ring. You were telling me that he's like a few months into his career, which I was surprised because I am surprised and not surprised because he's coming from like a legacy, right?
Right.
He's growing up as a little kid watching his family and his father wrestle, but like he was pretty awesome. He was engaging to the crowd and I liked his moves. What do you think, Doyle?
Yeah, that Rocky Maivia cat, he might work out.
Right.
Well, this match is another one of those matches that was supposed to go one way and zigzagged at the last minute. It was supposed to be Rock versus Triple H, or Hunter Hearst Helmsley, rather. I think they put him with the Sultan because the Rocky sucks chants have already started at this point.
Yeah.
The crowd
People
does
did not like it. Yeah.
Yeah, having this white meat baby face shoved down their throats. In fact, I think it would be fair to call Rocky Maivia a flop.
Yeah, that's what everyone's calling him right now.
Yeah, so they move him to the Sultan, so he's facing the foreign heel you know, and it's easier to cheer. But there's still some Rocky sucks chants that you can hear.
Yeah, I did point that out in my notes here. Like, does our viewer Raymond ask, did he still have the broccoli hair? I believe like that little like strands of hair
little
that are
less
curly.
so, but I would say yes.
It's a little bit more manicured, but
yeah,
it's not too crazy. So then this match goes for 9 minutes and 47 seconds.
Did y'all hear Honky Tonk? He's yelling, and he's like...
He's just yelling the whole time. He's like, Mr. McMahon.
Yes, I love that. I wrote that down. This is McMahon.
Yeah. And then Vince points out that they're cousins. He's like, it's not, you guys are talking to each other like they're cousins, which he's pointing out that Jerry and Honky Tonk are actually in real life cousins.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I like that the Iron Sheik is helping rile up the crowd, which is pretty cool. So he's doing his job.
Yeah.
They talk about Rock's dad being a tag team champion, and then, like you said, we see cousin versus cousin.
Yeah, we have Tony Atlas, who I believe in the show Young Rock, The Rock has put out there that his father did not really enjoy his time with Tony Atlas. So I was like, it kind of makes sense that they're separate at this point in time, because we do get just Tony Atlas sitting randomly with Captain Lou Albano.
Right, and he looks jacked as shit.
Yeah, right. He still looked like he could still go.
And he participated in the lead up to this, but then he doesn't do anything when The Rock gets attacked at the end. He just sits there. But I do love how drunk Captain Lou is. And they call him out. They go, "Oh, it looks like Captain Lou hit the cocktail hour or something." Like that.
Soul Patrol was a great tag team. I did not get to see them, Raymond. So if you have any like recommendations of matches I should Google on YouTube or go and look, definitely put that in the comments. Maybe after the show, so we don't lose it here in the live stream. Anything else stick out for you, Marine? Like,
well, they talk about The Rock dedicating and slamming to his dad, which I thought was cool. We see a double clothesline, which is pretty awesome. And like I said, you guys say that they were saying The Rock or Rocky sucks. But I thought The Rock was really good and playing to the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, psychologically, like ring psychology, like the way you want the match to go,
right?
They're doing everything right. It's just like the crowd's not buying it. Like, like Doyle said, you have this match set up where you want the foreign heel to be the bad guy, and for them, the crowd, the audience, to boo and do their best to rally, around The Rock, trying to get him to get the cheers and everything, and it's just not working.
Right.
And it's just like one of those things that we get like eventually later on with Roman Reigns, where people did not want to accept Roman Reigns as the guy, and people were booing him. And eventually he finds, just like The Rock finds, his character to actually get the audience around him. And now we get The Rock later on.
Rocky sucks ends up being the best thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah. Because I think if he doesn't get that, like, that animosity or hatred towards him, and his first gimmick works, then he's stuck as that guy who comes out with the tassels on his arm, like the Macho Man-esque type of kind of attire, and he keeps that island gimmick because that's how he came out, because he wanted to have that heritage thing go with him with his grandfather. So I mean, if that ends up sticking, that's how he's gonna do, and then he'll probably be washed out in a couple of years, because eventually that'll probably wear out, because we're in the Attitude Era and everyone didn't want to see anything like that at that time.
Yeah, I was looking around for Backlund because I'm like, where is he? He was wearing more clothes than I'm used to.
Yeah, I guess they still needed to get Backlund paid, because he really didn't contribute that much to to this match.
I thought the final pin was okay. We saw a splash by a Rock.
It's crazy to see Rocky going off the top rope. He certainly never did that when he got popular.
Yeah, he stops all that because I think it's tied to that. His grandfather.
It's amazing watching, and there's several guys on this rest of this card that are in the same boat. But it's just crazy to see. It's almost like watching when you go back and watch NXT match of somebody, Becky Lynch's or whatever, you can see how much they've evolved everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's interesting that you said that because I would have no idea. So it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys said, we finally see Backlund at the end of the stage where he was the whole match. We didn't really see him interact while we were watching, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Rikishi also does a splash, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, like Rikishi or the Sultan, where I want to say, since the cat's out of the bag, does a great job in trying to get his cousin over. As my reviewer Raymond points out, Rock's early face push was eerily similar to Roman's. Yes, the fans weren't buying it. Mentioned that earlier. And the Sheik pretty much is doing his heel work, pretty good heel work, managerial work here. Not sure how old he is. Like, is he in his early 50s or mid 50s at this point? So
yeah, I mean, I have to ask Doyle, who are you rooting for?
Oh, I mean, the Sultan was garbage. So, of course.
This was another passive match for you?
But Rocky Maivia wasn't really great either. I mean, it was fascinating to watch because I haven't sat down and watched this card in forever.
Mm-hmm.
It was great to watch, the baby Rock, if you will.
Mm-hmm. The Pebble?
Yes. Because, I mean, they had him earmarked for big things, but they couldn't possibly, nobody could have known. That he'd be the biggest movie star in the world, I mean,
that's true.
Shit,
I mean,
this is now what, 26, 27 years later, but
I'm a fan of most of his movies, except for that superhero one. What was it?
Black Adam?
Yeah. I mean, that was just an okay movie for me. I thought it could have been better.
I think that comedian did a better job. Omer.
Oh, yeah. He was awesome during that movie. I'm a
what's
big fan
the
of his show, too.
with Johnny Knoxville. He's in
Walking
Tall.
I think it's that
was
one.
Like
is
an
it?
early Rock movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
One of my good friends' brother-in-law was the bad guy in the Scorpion King.
Oh, okay.
Very cool. What is it? Six Connection? 6 degrees of wait, what's the word for
1
it?
degree or 2
1
degrees.
Right.
My friend, his brother-in-law, The Rock. Boom.
All right. So the match pretty much ends in a schoolboy roll-up pin, and then did you have any problems with the way the match finished?
You know what? I mean, we're talking about this match. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was just like a quick bailout. Like, let's get this match. This match isn't working. Let's get it over with and let's get out. We tried for 9 minutes and it's not going.
Like,
I mean, at least it didn't overstay its welcome,
Yeah.
If it had been 15 minutes, you would have said, "Oh, Jesus Christ!"
Yeah,
over
yeah.
here.
I think that's what they ended up just calling it in the ring. Let's just finish it, get out of here. And a roll up pin really doesn't really hurt the Sultan, but it really doesn't really like help The Rock get too much over because it still looks like he barely escaped.
I didn't look, but the Sultan can't have been around.
Oh no, he's not that. He's not around.
He was only there for a
this was like his only notable match.
Yeah,
and then like he kind of fizzles away. Yeah, and because he ends up leaving, and then he ends up like trying to refine himself again, and then he pops back in.
But he's Rikishi within a couple of months, I think.
Oh wow! From the Sultan to Rikishi, he switched his. So I mean, do I even have to ask you guys? Would you tell the audience to rewatch this?
No, I wouldn't. Because this, unless you want to see like The Rock, like grinding one out and trying to like work with an audience.
It's not a great match, but it's good to see a early Rock match if you're a kind of a
if you're like a fan and you're like, I want to see how The Rock started off, maybe.
It's worth it for that.
Yeah, so I would consider this a rewatch for me. Like you said, as far as seeing The Rock out there, I like seeing him and his dad. So I would recommend that you rewatch this match.
I think you were just more of a fan of the aftermath.
Well, yeah,
where The Rock is getting interviewed,
right,
and then he starts getting beat up by the trio of Backlund, the Sultan, and the Iron Sheik.
That too. There was like more action after the match.
Yeah, I think the skirmish afterwards is probably what makes you recommend this a little bit more.
Don't leave out the honky tonk, man. He got in there too.
That's
Did he?
Part of the
Honky Tonk Man
beatdown.
get in there? Did he? I must have missed that part.
It was pretty awesome to
Okay.
see father and son whip the Sheik. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I guess I don't know if it's embarrassing, but I was a little emotional when I saw them wrestling towards the end.
Yeah.
So that did it for me.
I guess Vince was wrong when he was saying that his parents were watching from Tampa.
Is that what he said? So with that takes us to match numero tres.
Yeah, we get Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He's still not Triple H yet.
Nope.
With his new enforcer / valet, Chyna.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
Chyna.
the ninth wonder of the world. Versus Goldust with his valet and real life wife at the time, Marlena.
Right.
So I guess they really didn't go into in depth on why this is happening, but I'm assuming this is happening because Triple H was trying to hit on Marlena and Marlena wasn't having any of it.
That's the storyline?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, this again was thrown together at the last second because they were gonna do Triple H versus The Rock, and they pivoted at the last minute.
Wow.
Yeah,
what would you rather have seen? Would you have rather seen Triple H and The Rock or the previous match with him and Rikishi? Or the
I don't think it would have worked out either way.
No?
No. It's like this match goes 14 minutes 29 seconds, but if you had paired up The Rock with Triple H, you still get the heel, but I think Vince didn't want to do this because with Triple H, and if you're booking this wise, if you already have some guy that's getting booed, like The Rock is getting booed,
right?
Like Doyle and I pointed out, then you don't want to put another heel because as much as Triple H is like a heel, he's more of a relatable heel.
Okay.
So the audience probably would have turned more on Triple H, and more in Triple H's favor, and then they wouldn't have liked the outcome of The Rock maintaining it if you're still trying to build The Rock as a the maybe potential future face of the company.
Right. Well, I like that Triple H is dressed like he's going to a Renaissance fair. Or like he was like an elf in the Lord of the Rings. Or he popped off like a romance novel. I'm like, what an outfit.
I think they were supposed to be like polo pants or something.
Yeah. You're supposed to still keep that
the Connecticut
purebred
blue blood.
and
I remember the Connecticut Blue Blood character, but I'd forgotten that his fucking entrance music was Ode to Joy.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck?
But they didn't play it in the previous WrestleMania. In the previous WrestleMania,
where he gets squashed by Warrior.
Yeah, where he gets squashed by Warrior, he doesn't get music played. So I was like, hey, when did he get the music from when they break into the vault in Die Hard?
Yeah.
Oh, our viewer points out that it's equestrian garb.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
I've never been on I guess a horse during polo where I have to. Yeah,
he's also Triple H also noticeably smaller than he would become in his final form as a main eventer a couple of years later. I guess that vitamin regimen worked.
Yeah, it's all that training and prayers and that's someone else. All right, so we get Triple H and Goldust. Maria, who are you rooting for?
Well, I mean, I'm rooting for Triple H. Also, I noticed that compared to Triple H, Goldust is just super tall. I'm used to a short hair Hunter Helmsley, like in nowadays. So it was kind of jarring to see him. I thought he had some pretty cool moves. What did you guys think?
Well, he's coming off a Slammy for best hair, right? They about 700 times during the match.
Wow. I mean, poor Chyna. These guys are really rude. These ladies, really also weren't doing anything during the match. So
no, I seen that there was no point for both of them. I think this is like, as we mentioned, this is getting towards the Attitude Era.
Okay.
But like valets and managers become really, really scarce.
Oh.
Whereas before they used to be like Bobby the Brain was in
Every
charge of
heel had a
like
manager.
everybody, and he was out there pretty much the whole pay-per-view.
Mhm.
And the same with like Mr. Fuji and all those other guys. They had like 2 or 3 tag teams or individuals in their management or company or whatever stable that you
Right.
want to call, that they were in charge of. And now we just get like dedicated people, and they're not really doing much except for like maybe towards the end China like goes to like initiate the distraction,
Mhm.
which ends up having which cost Goldust the match.
Right.
But
the distraction. She ragdolls the fuck out of
yeah, when she
Yes.
catches her,
like
yeah,
it looks like it's a dummy.
I had
You
to
know,
rewatch
like
it
when they
twice.
show the wide shot, she just
yeah.
Yes.
like it doesn't look like a real person. It looks like a
I
man.
mean, that was pretty awesome. Not
Yeah,
for
so
Marlena, but
yeah. So you were going for Triple H.
yeah.
Do you like how this ends then?
I mean, that slap by Goldust to Triple H or Helmsley was pretty funny. And when you're listening to the crowd is cheering for Goldust. We get a backsplash, small
Mhm.
package by I don't know why I call them GD, but Goldust. And it doesn't do it. So, but like the ending for this match was everything when she ragdolls Marlena.
Mhm.
I don't know what to say about this match. I think it's a little messy. What do you guys think?
I think it's because it to me this match like the way it ends is like more for like a continuation.
Yes.
And like if you want this feud to continue, because now Goldust would have to go after Triple H to avenge his woman,
Right.
and because she was ragdolled by the ninth wonder of the world. But because as Doyle had pointed out, this pay-per-view pretty much had like last minute rewrites like
Right.
to go before this lead up goes into.
Yeah.
You could see it in this match because it's like the payoff is not there because it's like I had mentioned, like I don't see what the whole reason for this match was, and that's the only thing that I could piece together is that Triple H was just trying to hit on Marlena,
Ooh.
and that was it. It's like because even China is barely made her debut like in February
Okay.
of
Yeah,
this,
she's brand new.
so she's brand new.
I
So
think
that probably
Hunter Hearst Helmsley had Mr. Hughes, I think, was his second at first.
yeah, like his valet or butler
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah. So it's like probably like a learning process for her, and it's probably why they just told her to like keep it simple, like
Right.
go over here, go talk to Marlena. Marlena's gonna get up, and because you see it set up, but it sets up so slowly,
Oh
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
already see like how it's gonna happen.
So you're like, there's a buildup. Okay. So this is a continuation of a story. I can see that. So with that said, Doyle, would you tell people listening or watching this to rewatch this match?
It would it's similar to the Rocky match. Early Hunter is
Right.
worth it
Mhm.
for that. I think you can kind of see how much better he gets. But Goldust is so fucking good. Like one of the most underrated performers ever, I think. And talk about a guy that turned what would have been a death sentence, I think, to almost anybody else into one of the most memorable characters of all time.
Yeah,
He was
I
really
think.
good. The Marlena and Chyna add nothing to this. They keep
Mhm.
talking about how concerned Marlena is, but her expression never changes.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, so like in terms of like storyline or something, there's nothing here. But
yeah.
it's worth it to see the early Triple H and just Goldust is awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Cool.
it's mentioned in the last pay per view
Mhm.
that Sabio Vega's pretty much what helped Goldust or Dustin embrace the character of Goldust.
Yeah.
Because of the whole he has that whole history of like how a character like Goldust is portrayed
Mhm.
more in the Latino lucha libre style.
Mhm.
So he pretty much told him to lean into that. And when they had a show in Madison Square Garden, Sabio Vega versus Goldust,
Mhm.
he pretty much like led him, and he would like do those moves, or he would tell Goldust to do those like moves that would kind of like push the envelope
Right.
and make it seem like it's more of a like a Latino type of lucha libre match, so it would get the audience to be jeering and like booing Goldust because of that whole
But I mean,
closeted off situation that character portrays.
right, and good call, guys, because like Doyle is saying, I mean, anybody else, could they make that character work? But he surely did. So what about you? Would you recommend that our listeners or our viewers rewatch this match?
If you have the time and you are like wanting like to see, because this match is 14 minutes 29 seconds,
Right.
how the beginning, like the fundamentals that Hunter has, all of this you see is the character building of him, and all of this is what he takes with him forward. You see like his moves that he pretty much incorporates later on,
Right.
but like the persona is here, and he just needs to refine it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, he gets better in every facet.
Yeah,
his promos get better, his timing gets better, his ring work everything gets better.
Yeah,
but and you can kind of see that starting to happen.
And it's how Raymond commented about Dustin is a son of a son and a son of a gun, the heart of a rodeo bulldog. He's a natural.
That's a good one. So would I recommend that you all are listening or watching rewatch? I mean, I would say if you would like to see an average match, and Marlena get ragdolled by Chyna, please watch. Or just watch the replay at the end, because that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, she's getting shaken. So
just fast forward to the 14 minutes into that match, and then you see
the she grabs her. It's just like
she's
so
like
crazy.
The inflatable thing outside of the used car lot.
Yeah, right. Wacky inflatable Marlena. Plainly Marlena.
That shit was wild.
Right. So that takes us to our next match, the tag team match, which we mentioned is going to be facing the number one contenders of the Headbangers. We have the champions, Owen Hart and the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, versus Mankind, making his WrestleMania debut, and Big Van Vader with Paul Bearer now. Yeah. Paul Bearer, not Paul Bearer. Yeah, so this match goes 16 minutes and 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Maria, who are you going for?
I think y'all know I'm a fan of Mick, but I'm rooting for Owen and Davey during this match.
Nice.
I'm
also rooting for them.
You too?
Yeah, Doyle?
Well, I mean, Owen Hart's a treasure, so you got to root for him anytime he's in there.
Okay, nice.
But I do love. Mick Foley's one of my favorite performers ever, and Vader's one of the greatest super heavyweights ever. Although, unfortunately, I think his time has passed him at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I like that Owen leapt into Vader's arms. I'm like, how romantic.
You can literally see Owen's literally running circles around Vader at certain points in this match. He just can't keep up. It's kind of sad.
No, I mean, I don't think the only one that probably keeps up is Mankind on this, because even Davey Boy is kind of slowing down here too.
Yeah.
But I can't say enough. I'm gonna recommend this match just mainly because we don't have that many Owen Hart matches in a couple of years. So anytime, like if you're just watching WrestleManias like we are, this is how we're doing, where we will watch WrestleManias and revisit them, as we say, because Maria's just starting off on her wrestling journey, and we are going to be attending WrestleMania 40. So I figured what better way to get her introduced with the history of WrestleMania than watching all the old WrestleManias before we attend one.
Ooh.
So we don't have that many more WrestleManias with Owen. And I always felt that Owen was like going to be the best of the Harts. And unfortunately I feel bad because that's all we always have to mention every time we talk about Owen. But it just very tragic for him and his family.
I'm a fan of Bret too.
You are a fan of Bret, yes.
I'm rooting for him.
But this is about Owen.
Okay, sorry.
Owen Hart. And so what did you think about Mankind, Mick Foley?
I think he is awesome. I like his character, but we had a suplex by Davey to Mankind, which is pretty awesome. Also, Vader hits Davey with the urn, and you can say Davey earned that hit.
No. The puns never stop with my wife.
He clocked him good too.
Yeah.
The thing went flying.
Mm-hmm. Maria, did you ever have any questions on why Paul Bearer is no longer with the Undertaker? Because you don't see him later.
Oh, that's a good question. No, but tell me why.
It's just basically the Undertaker is done.
Oh.
Like he's getting tired of doing this whole dead man type of thing, so they're trying to separate Paul Bearer. So they ended up like starting to
that's unfortunate
make that
because
divide.
I like Paul Bearer's faces that he makes. He's like, like I'm into that. But instead of slammies, they should give mashies because Vader mashed Davey pretty good. What do you guys think about this match?
I mean, I think it's a pretty good match, and like I think I had already said that I'm going to be recommending this match,
right?
For our viewers to watch, just because of the work that Owen does. Mm-hmm. These are all very seasoned guys. As much as like you want to say that Vader is kind of like slowing down as the big guy, but like they're all veterans. They all are hitting their spots. I don't see anything that didn't really have like points out to me like someone is like the psychology, like even though like Owen Hart and Davey Boy have been like kind of heelish, mm-hmm. They're like in that where they're riding, they're like they're in the middle. They can either go heel or they could be faces. I think they're one of those few like performers that I feel like that we get where they can adjust to the crowd just because of how like experienced they are. Mm. Like if this match they're actually facing people that are supposed to be heels, Mankind and Vader,
right?
So they're able to flip the switch, even though like like I mentioned, Owen Hart and Davey Boy had kind of been heelish because they turned their backs against Bret,
right?
In that whole feud that Owen and Bret had back. They're actually the faces, if you think about it, and the crowd is actually behind them, and they're actually cheering for Owen in his match.
Right.
Doyle,
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely heel versus heel, but they're working face.
Yeah.
But that's part of the reason the crowd doesn't give a single solitary shit at the end when Mankind won't let Bulldog out of the mandible claw, because they're also heels. The crowd doesn't give a the crowd didn't care. So what? He's a heel. And they're gonna join up with Bret in a couple weeks, I think. And that's quite a story.
Yeah, because of what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
So
this is 1997 is a pivotal year for the WWF at the time.
We'll get to this a little bit later, but go ahead. You got more to add to this match?
That bump Foley took. I guess Vader put, I forget who it was, maybe Owen over his knee, and then
when they do kind of like the demolition decapitation.
Yeah, very similar to demolition. Yeah, that was a hell of a move. Hell of a maneuver. I loved King. I forgot how much Vince loves to say, forget about it. My favorite line from commentary was King saying, the only time he's ever seen 90210 was on a scale.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I love how pissed off Stu Hart looks that he's on camera.
Yeah.
Like looking.
Yeah, he's not giving anything. He's like a stone face like this.
But Owen and Bret's mom looked shocked. So I like that because I'm sure she's seen so many wrestling matches, but during this one, she was pretty shocked at what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool to see them in the crowd. I mean, I really like a tag team match. Watch it. It's a good match. It's one of my favorites. What about you guys?
Yeah, I definitely recommend this match just because of the whole I feel like the way that Owen and Davey and all of those guys work together, it's all a bunch of veterans just doing the job, getting the match done, and just entertaining the crowd, because it's pretty much what you have here. And I just recommend it. Like if you don't want to watch the 4-way tag team tornado match, or you don't want to watch Triple H or Rocky Maivia debut, definitely if you have the time and feel like going down memory lane to see Mankind's first WrestleMania, this is a match to watch.
And Doyle
too.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend it. It's 3 of the all-time greats, and I would put Davey Boy maybe in just the next tier down. So I mean, yeah, anytime you get a chance to watch Owen, you should take it, because there's only a finite amount of Owen matches. Actually, oh fuck, 3 of these 4 guys are gone.
Wow.
That's sad. Early Mankind is so great. Yeah, I would recommend it. Everybody's great in this match. You look at this match on paper, it maybe should have been a little better. Maybe if they trimmed a minute or 2 off, but yeah, watch it.
Or if they actually got you like a result. Like,
that might, yeah.
Instead of having still, like
they're getting away from it, but I think we talked about last time how many countouts and DQs. Now you don't have any of that anymore, and at WrestleMania anyway. It's just strange. We're still doing it. haven't quite abandoned it yet.
Right.
So that takes us to match number 5.
Yeah, we got Bret Hart versus Stone Cold.
Are we excited? I feel like there should be a drum roll for these two, just a little bit.
I still haven't got the names up. Hopefully it comes through in the audio. But Stone Cold Steve Austin in the I Quit match. So we get our second I Quit match here. And the good news is we no longer have the ref sticking the microphone in the person's face when they're asking if they quit.
Yeah, that's
so good. Thank you, Vince, for deciding to go against that. Maria, you mentioned that you're a fan of Bret Hart.
Yeah, we also had a special guest referee, Ken Shamrock.
Shamrock. Ken Shamrock later ends up joining the business, but he's mostly in the MMA, like in UFC and things like that. So he's actually gonna transition into the future into the company. But this is like his first kind of introduction into the WWF now universe.
Well, I mean, I like this match. Stone Cold goes in quick. I really like Bret, but I'm a fan of Stone Cold, and I love that they're like in the audience getting rowdy. Also, we see a fan with no shirt and a shirt wearing a leather jacket. And for those listening or watching, if you're that guy without a shirt and a leather jacket, comment below.
Also, if you're the guy who's like tussling the wrestler's hair.
Oh yeah. Also wearing a leather jacket.
Reach out to me and be like, how drunk were you that you decided to tussle grown men's hair while they're right by you?
King goes, punch that drunk guy in the face.
Oh man.
Yeah, so who were you rooting for, Maria?
Who was I rooting for? I was rooting for Stone Cold.
Stone Cold, okay.
Yeah. Also I just am a real big fan of having them go into the audience. I thought it was pretty cool. Also us being fortunate to be part of that kind of situation is fun when you see people get tossed in, beers tossed, all that good stuff. So I'm here for it.
I think they weren't even expecting them to go in the audience, or maybe the crowd was too overpowering on the camera guy that was supposed to follow them, because we get like some super far away shots, and later on, like as the company gets better, I guess, and being more mobile with the cameraman,
right,
you can actually see more of the up close shots of them like probably punching each other on the stair in the aisles and things like that. But I think maybe this was probably something that wasn't expected for the production team. What do you think, Doyle?
I'm not sure, but yeah, your point is definitely valid. In as much as I'm talking about Rock, you see the Rock getting better and Triple H getting better. You see the production getting better also.
Right.
And yeah, this and the next match also. We're starting to do stuff we're not doing before. We're going in the audience. We're using weapons. We're doing all this stuff. It's definitely the ECW influence.
Right.
And I guess the camera people have to learn how to adapt to that kind of thing. So yeah, I actually thought the production was a lot better in this match with the mayhem than it is in the next match, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of, if not my favorite match of all time.
Okay.
And certainly one of the most historically significant matches also, because the things that the things in and around this match are just so far reaching. And like I said, 97 is a fucking super pivotal year for the WWF. And part of it is because of these events here,
Right.
Austin's a heel going into
Yeah.
this. I mean, he's starting to get cheered, but he's a heel. I mean, it's maybe 75-25, and Bret Hart's the other way. He's been a white meat baby face for years and years, and now he's starting to get some boos. He's about 75-25 with the boos. So you get the double turn, which is the greatest thing in wrestling when they can pull it off. Hard to pull off. Luckily, they don't do it very often because it's so difficult. But it's never done better than it is here.
Yeah, and I think at this point, I think it's Stone Cold is more like in that anti-hero type of character where he can just flip, where he can be the heel if he needs to, or if he could be the baby face if he needs to.
Right.
And Bret is Bret, and I think it's just one of those things where he wanted the adoration and to be loved by the audience, but it just never happens, and I'm not sure why, because it never happened with me, and you can tell that it hasn't happened with like just the majority of the WWF now audience. But the crowd in Chicago did certainly like Bret. And there are some cheers when Bret gets some moves off and things like that. And my wife is a fan of Bret, and even right now, she's like, "I'm cheering for Stone Cold." So there's obviously
the best to ever do it.
I get introduced to that Stone Cold. I don't know if it's a Chicago thing. I'm saying Cold. Stone Cold Stunner, which I think is awesome. We get a unique figure 4 because he gets knocked up against the ring post by Bret, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another awesome figure 4 by Stone Cold. And Stone Cold goes ham on Bret, and you're like, will he ever recover? How does he recover? But he does. And he's literally saved by the bell.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about this match?
I think this match was like, it wasn't like perfectly plotted out.
Okay.
Because it seemed like there's a couple of like rough spots. But it does what it needs to do psychologically, which is what Doyle pointed out. We have two guys kind of like fringe, borderline, like, characters. Is Bret's technically the face, because Stone Cold's been the antagonist that started this whole feud,
Right.
but Bret is getting not like the whole audience with him, and there's been more cheers for Stone Cold, which I mentioned is more because of that whole anti-hero, anti-establishment character that he's pretty much ending to adopt as his career continues with
also he's a huge guy. He's like 252, 6 foot 2 inches. He's a pretty big guy compared to Bret. So
yeah,
I mean, just that was pretty cool.
Is there anything else that sticks out here? Because the only other thing I'd like to note here is I'm surprised that Stone Cold didn't actually get hurt. There's a spot in the match where he's picking up the steel stairs.
Oh yeah.
And Bret gives him like a little bit of a, like, if it's not a punch, it's like a kick or a drop kick, and then like Stone Cold has his foot underneath the other stairs, like the stairs used to separate in half, and Stone Cold is dropping him, and his leg kind of bends in a weird spot. It's either like his right, or if it's a mirrored view, his left foot, but his foot becomes trapped and kind of extends it. So I was kind of worried there that they might have, even though I know how long the match goes, I'm still kind of worried that Stone Cold they're going to have to end up calling this early. But
Doyle, what do you think about this match? Did you like it? Are you here for
I love it. Like I said, it might be my favorite. I love Ken Shamrock's painted on referee shirt. commentary, if you pay attention to it, basically tells you what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's very. There's a couple things they say that are kind of almost eerie. He says something about
that Stone Cold wouldn't tap. That wouldn't say. He wouldn't say
no,
I
he says
quit.
that
He'd rather.
it's when Stone Cold goes to try to put Bret in the sharpshooter. Vince says something about, imagine if Bret submitted to his own move. That could happen. And he might as well have said, on November 9th or whatever it is, later this year, guess what's going to happen?
Oh, I actually thought that was more of a callback to when Bret Hart had the I Quit match with Bob Backlund, and he actually made Bob Backlund submit with the chicken wing.
Sure. But I mean,
But
it's just
I didn't think
in
about
light
it
of what
that way.
happens later.
Yeah,
the Montreal screw job, you know.
Yeah.
It's a one of the best blade jobs of all time. Austin just bleeds and bleeds and bleeds. Like the rest of the card, the mat is just
that whole
blood. It's just everywhere. And you get that iconic shot at the end where it's dripping down into his teeth. And he's,
our kid was like, why is he bleeding? And I was like trying to explain it. I'm like, that's paint.
Well, they weren't supposed to do that.
No.
Vince kind of says, well, we don't like to show this kind of thing.
It was kind of an audible.
This is now the second time Bret has bladed himself at a or been a part of blading at WrestleMania when he wasn't supposed to. I think he did it in 8 as well.
This match, according to our viewer, for him, made the Stone Cold character in the ring like his Austin 316 promo made him on the mic.
And absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. The trajectory, like without, I assume Austin would have been big, but without this, who knows if it would have been as big. And if they didn't, without the blood in this match, really adds to it, right? If this match plays out, but he's not bleeding, it's not covered in blood, and he just passes out, it's not the same. It doesn't have the same effect.
And I think my wife was watching an interview where Bret Hart is breaking down this match, and he said that Bret Hart actually suggested that blood should be in it, and Stone Cold was apprehensive because he had never bladed before.
Right.
There's
I can't get enough of the wrestling.
There's Stone Cold does like a director's commentary of this match also. I haven't heard the Bret Hart one, but
so he's like
I listened to the Stone Cold one, and he talks a lot about how they did it and Bret did it to him, and you can
Bret did it to him. He's like, if you're not sure that you can do it,
you can barely see it, and
I'm still not able to pinpoint where. I'm assuming it's where he throws him over the railing.
He gets him in the back of the arm.
Before.
You can see that one, but I don't know when he gets him in the.
But
he gets blood all over Jerry the King Lawler.
Everywhere. And then the King is like, "Did he get blood on me?"
Yeah.
I mean, it was all over the ring. It was all over him. I'm like, wow. And according to Bret, he said it was just like a small, like surface cut.
Yeah, tiny little cut. Yeah.
But I'm like, that's a lot of blood for a tiny cut. And like you said, he said there used to be a strict no blood rule. And I was watching this old interview that Carlos was talking about on MDA events. So if you haven't checked out that old interview and you're interested in hearing more of the like kind of background to what was going on during WrestleMania 13, definitely watch that. He said it was a big chance for both of them because they didn't get permission to do this. So that was pretty cool to me. Yeah, definitely a fan of this match.
So this is your favorite match?
This is my one of my favorite matches of this WrestleMania. We see Bret finish Stone Cold with a sharpshooter, and I'm here for the win. So I was pretty happy with that win. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this is not my favorite match as much as I like. They still have some problems with the way this match kind of flows.
Right.
But as far as character wise and getting like someone to pretty much gain momentum and become more of a prominent character in the promotion, this is what this match does, like Doyle has pointed out. So that's the only reason I would recommend this match. If you want to start seeing more of the meteoric rise of Steve Austin, as Arpad has pointed out, that it's not Cold Stone Steve Austin, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's not cold, not to be confused
Then-
with a Cold
The Ice
Stone
Cream.
Creamery either.
Yeah, but
One thing that bothered me about the match is that it's a no DQ match, but Bret gets a rope break when
he gets the
Austin has him in
extension
Boston
cord.
Crab.
Right.
What the
Oh,
fuck?
the Boston Crab, I forgot that too. So, but
Like,
they
it's no
also
DQ.
call it.
He shouldn't
Yeah.
have to break the hold. That always drove me crazy. And
Mhm.
poor Robin Ventura sitting at home catching strays. If he's watching WrestleMania 13,
Right.
King is all over him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nobody likes Ventura for
when the
some reason.
poor guy isn't getting beat up by 100-year-old Nolan Ryan, King's
Yeah.
giving him shit on commentary. Can't catch a break.
No, and he's like, "What did I do?" So we all recommend this match, and this is Maria's and Doyle's favorite match.
Yeah, rewatches.
So definitely a recommended rewatch.
Masterful.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
And then we have the main. No, we don't have the main event yet. Sorry, I wanted to skip to the main event because of this Chicago street fight that's next. But we have.
Can I get a little tidbit I came across before we get there?
Okay.
WrestleMania 13, first WrestleMania with no Roman numerals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because Vince, God damn it, nobody knows Roman numerals. And then they show this promo for WrestleMania 14, and what's in the logo?
Roman numerals are back.
And then on top of that, it's like, well, tickets aren't on sale. Don't try to get tickets. It's just so weird.
I heard. I was like, why?
Weird and funky, and it's just like, and it's part of that. You see the production growing also as well as the performers.
I thought that was weird too. Yeah, I was like, why are they saying like?
Yeah,
what?
don't get tickets. No.
It was like very Donald Trump-esque, where he probably took one like a note from him, and he's like, "You got to get the hype train going." And then he's like, "I'm gonna do it," but wait, don't get the tickets
don't
yet.
buy tickets.
But they're gonna be on sale soon, so you do want to get the tickets, but don't go try to buy the tickets right now.
Everything is so polished nowadays. Like something like that would never happen now.
Don't look for it though.
Yeah.
A nice comment here from our friend in our Facebook live chat. I always thought Stone Cold should have done commercials for Cold Stone ice cream.
He still can he?
Yeah, I'm sure he can.
Yeah.
He has the beer and his rattlesnake ranch. Why can't he go into ice cream?
I was gonna say, do it.
He should do the competing ice cream bars.
Wait,
as CM Punk tried to get his ice cream bars made.
Did he?
Yeah, he had them.
Okay, so if Stone Cold, am I saying it right?
It's Stone Cold.
Stone Cold. I don't know why my mouth is.
Or you could just call him Steve. If Steve Austin
had an ice cream, what ice cream flavor would it be?
Very interesting.
What do you think? Anything?
Maybe like something like some variation of a chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be like close to like the print of a rattlesnake, but something like whatever they like, a chocolate chip and then something else in there, like
something tough and a little chunky.
Yeah. What do you think, Doyle?
I wasn't thinking of flavor. I was trying to think of what it's called.
Okay.
Whoop ass, something or
mud hole.
Mud hole.
Yeah, because that's what JR always says about Stone Cold. He's stomping a mud hole in him. Oh my God, he's broken in half.
I was just saying Raymond's gonna have jokes on that one.
Oh, he actually recommended one. Thank you. Rattlesnake Crunch, vanilla and toffee.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Sounds good.
If you are watching this on the replay and you have other recommendations of Stone Cold started an ice cream shop and he was coming up with flavors, what flavors would be and what would be the name, please feel comment here. And so we move on to the Chicago street fight match.
Oh yeah.
After Doyle took us on a tangent about this.
Sorry.
That's okay.
All good.
So Ahmed Johnson.
Tough spot following that match, huh?
Yeah, that's what they said. There's gonna be a tough
At least you
tough
got
spot.
LOD in Chicago.
Yeah, the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal team up to save Ahmed Johnson from the Nation of Domination.
Oh yeah.
That is spearheaded by Farouk, and Farouk is here with Crush, a former Demolition, and Savio Vega has also joined the Nation.
I totally forgot that Crush and Savio Vega were in the Nation of Domination.
I had also forgotten.
They both have their own groups later. Crush has like a biker gang, right?
Oh yeah. And then Savio Vega has the Boricuas.
Yeah.
Wow.
I totally forgot that they were the Nation. A lot of people passed through the Nation of Domination. Owen Hart was in the Nation of Domination.
Wow.
Like
they needed to try to keep that going, and I don't want to get spoiler alerty, but eventually Rocky Maivia joins the Nation of Domination.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, Nation of Domination sounds pretty cool. I love the name. And then the Legion of Doom comes out, and it's like a 1980s movie. We just need somebody to break dance because I'm like, what's going on here?
But unfortunately, it's the 90s,
right? Yeah. I'm like, what is happening?
So we have this match going here between them, and this match goes 10 minutes and 46 seconds.
Did you all see that table situation? It was hilarious, and it seemed like that was a failed move. But
animal?
Yeah.
That
was bad.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
But they eventually get their second go around on that table, and that table does break.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's kind of like one of the production things I was talking about. Like nowadays, if the cameraman or the director or sees that going wrong and cuts away from it, or they pan up so you don't totally see that, like, and just like little things like that that they're still figuring out.
Yeah. So Maria, who were you rooting for? Was it Ahmed Johnson and the Legion of Doom, or the Nation of Domination?
There were like no real call-outs for me, but the only call-outs I did see that we had so many things in this Chicago street fight. We had 2x4s, we had trash cans, we had the Horizon Stadium off-ramp sign, we had a rope. I was just like, there's a lot going on during this match. So what do you guys think of this Chicago street fight?
As far as like on the card,
yeah,
you needed this after the match that we just had. So you needed kind of like this no nonsense match that no one's really going to be paying attention to. They know that the Undertaker and Psycho Sid are next, so they're probably just going to go empty their bladders or refill their drinks and not really pay attention to this match that really has no bearing as far as making the audience stay.
Right. I mean,
this is the first time we're seeing a weapons match like this at a WrestleMania, though. Yeah, like I said before, the ECW influence is really starting to permeate here.
Yeah, because Vince is facing pressures from three front or two front.
We were right smack dab in the middle of the 83 weeks that WCW wins the Monday Night Wars. We're right in the middle of that.
It was funny because Carlos started pointing out that people were just like leaving the ring, which I thought was pretty funny. He's like, look, that guy just walked out.
Oh yeah, towards the end. Did you notice that, Doyle? Towards the end, when this match is wrapping up, D'Lo Brown gets in here, and I forget who he's beating up.
Like punching him through the whole thing.
So eventually we're getting to the finish. So D'Lo knows that the finish is coming.
Right.
So he just bails. He just leaves the ring.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just like walks out.
And then one of the no-name guys from the Nation of Domination, they have like that 3/4 coat on and their caps on.
Yeah.
He just randomly comes and he's carrying a 2x4 and he actually hands it to Ahmed Johnson.
Like to the opposing,
like willingly. Team. Like Ahmed doesn't take it. He's just like, here you go, Ahmed. Like, just go ahead and just use this.
Yeah. And Ahmed Johnson was fucking horrible, by the way.
Yeah,
but
then,
did you? I liked the heart attack owner Vince almost has when the 2x4 Hawk, I think, hits somebody or tries to hit somebody, and goes flying up in the air. And you can hear Vince like, "Oh fuck, I'm about to get sued because a fan at ringside is about to get clocked in the face here," and he just goes, "Oh, nice catch, Hawk," or something like that. Yeah. I love that. Did you guys notice a young Colt Cabana in the audience when they
No, I did not. Where was he at?
He's wearing an ECW t-shirt.
Ooh.
Oh, I did see someone wear it, but I didn't like peg that there was a Colt Cabana.
It's a young Colt Cabana.
Mm-hmm.
The fire extinguisher bit. I don't know if you noticed that they have the gimmick fire extinguisher that they're supposed to use during the match that doesn't have harmful chemicals and shit like that in it. But they also have to have a fire extinguisher for
because
fire
they have pyro
or whatever.
Wow.
The first two, because the thing goes off 3 times. And you notice the first 2 times is very different than the third time because they kept hitting the wrong one. The one they kept hitting the chemical one. So
yeah, because that's you notice that the stuff is more in the air.
Coughing. JR's coughing on commentary. Finally, they got it right on the 3rd time. And it's noticeably different. It doesn't linger in the air. It just goes up and it's gone. I thought that was funny.
I did not notice that. That's really cool.
So,
I don't know if we should be using nooses in.
Yeah, I was that's what I was like. Oh shit! I'm like, what is this?
Ahmed Johnson was very like not wanting to do that, and that's one of the things that end up why he ends up leaving the company. Besides him like not being good
professional wrestler.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
he had wanted to avoid this particular spot because he didn't like his sister was actually a fan of his, obviously, because who wouldn't be? But
guest.
Yeah, he didn't want her to see him getting noose, like put in a noose. Oh, look at that!
That's really. I was like,
the cat cave comes through with a cat.
Yes, there we go.
What a cutie pie.
Okay, sorry.
We were distracted by your cat.
Really?
So that's one of the things he's been avoiding to have this actually happen because Vince had been pitching this.
Right.
That one, like with the Nation of Domination, they're gonna for some reason put him in a noose and drag him out.
Really ridiculous.
So, and the worst thing is, it's not even the last time they're going to do a noose spot.
Wow.
We're going to have another one later.
That's a shame.
Luckily, it won't be a black man in the noose this time.
I was like, this is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's the 90s. Like, I'm like, what's happening? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
But the Legion of Doom, they win with Ahmed Johnson, and I thought it was okay. It's worth a watch. Watch the melee. That was the son of a match.
Yeah, but this one, maybe the production team was out because we don't even get like a full shot of them doing that. Is it the Doomsday Device or is it called something different?
Yeah, Doomsday Device.
Yeah,
really?
The double Doomsday Device at the end.
Yeah.
Johnson nearly kills the guy. He's holding up.
Yeah.
And they didn't get Ron Simmons takes that disgusting bump off the top rope onto his hip on the outside. And they didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
They got to show that in a replay.
That's what I'm saying. I think that the production team was like also getting drinks or going to the bathroom at that point.
Another thing, I think I mentioned it every time I see one of these older shows, how different the ringside area is.
For sure.
It's it's wider.
Those thin little pads and the barricades, and it's smaller, and it's everything about it like screams lawsuit.
Right? You start picking up on these things. You're like, what's happening during this match?
So we all are in agreement that you can skip this match, just like probably everyone else did.
I mean, it's not a terrible. I mean, it's a what is it like? 10 minutes and 46 seconds.
Yeah. So do you recommend this
match? I think
match?
It's an okay match.
Will you recommend people watch this match?
This is not on my list of recommended matches to rewatch.
That's so.
I can't like them all. They're not all
winners.
They're not all winners.
All right, so now we get to the main event.
Is that match 7?
Yeah, Psycho Sid is WWF champion versus The Undertaker without Paul Bearer.
Mark William Calloway.
Yeah,
his government name.
Yeah, government name. Maria just likes to give them out. This is a no DQ match. And this match goes for 21 minutes and 20 seconds. And we also get Shawn getting his moment in the sun, coming down to his music. And he even gets his pyro, too.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I mean, if you did not know that Vince was a big fan or believed that Shawn was the man, what more proof did you need than Vince coming and then Shawn Michaels coming down to do guest commentary for this match?
I was like, oh, so he's not wrestling. Okay.
Yeah, but he's got a knee injury, and he comes out and he's kind of lumbering around at first, and then he gets to the ringside and he's skipping around
and twirls.
It doesn't look that hurt to me. I'm not an orthopedic surgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot. I'm like,
So
okay.
before this match happens, we get a stare down, and then Bret Hart comes back and asks for the mic.
I didn't realize that Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were not like friendly.
No, and that happens because of the last match that Bret Hart has before he leaves because he doesn't get his contract renewed with Vince.
Right.
It's Survivor Series, which we all it's been deemed as the Montreal screw job. That's not part of a WrestleMania, which is primarily what we watch here. But if you are interested,
it's worth going to seek out.
We will watch it, and then maybe we can do this during Thanksgiving because during the week of Thanksgiving. No, I'm just saying, like to put out something. We don't plan on having a show for Thanksgiving, which would have probably been like the WrestleMania 16 if we're going good on our schedule. But we'll probably just put up something to Maria's thoughts on seeing the Montreal screw job, since Survivor Series actually kind of normally took place either the week of Thanksgiving or the week before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here for it. So with that.
Yeah, so with that, you got Undertaker and Psycho Sid. Who are you rooting for?
Who do you think I'm rooting for?
Psycho Sid.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Psycho Sid.
Okay.
Whoa.
Man, Doyle.
No, and
Doyle, who would you have on your card, even though you know how this match goes?
Sid is just awful. So I'm gonna almost always root for whoever Sid is wrestling.
Wow.
All right.
I don't know who thought giving him a 20-minute plus match was a good idea.
Was Psycho Sid ever an actor? Because I can definitely see him and like
I don't believe he got into acting at any time. No,
he should have. He missed his opportunity. He could have played in one of those like Jean-Claude Van Damme movies or something like that.
I think he looks more like Kane's brother than the Undertaker does. He looks very much like Glenn Jacobs, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm surprised they weren't made kayfabe brothers because they look like them.
Maybe if he wouldn't have had those injuries to his neck that cut his career short, he probably would have been able to do something.
Oh, I was gonna say, much like me on a flight, the Undertaker looks like he's wearing compression socks during this match. But I was like, what is he wearing?
Those boot high socks.
Yeah, but we get some cool moves. I know you're not a fan of Sid, but Sid power bombs Bret, which is well deserved. Because although that was a good match, I'm kind of done seeing him for right now.
Bret,
so, yeah, I was like, why does he keep?
Bret and Shawn add nothing here, I think.
Yeah, well, this is as much as we want to call that Survivor Series match the Montreal screw job,
right?
The way that Bret Hart starts getting booked before this and after, where he's coming off as a whiny guy and complainer, like a male, what we would say Karen now, about how his career's going ever since he lost to Shawn. He should have by now had seen the writing was on the wall that Vince was not going to re-sign him. Like, why would you want to have this guy come back?
It wasn't that he wasn't going to get re-signed. It's that they did sign him, and then Vince came to him and said, I don't think I can honor this contract I've given you. That was the issue.
Oh, okay. I thought it was always because Bret wanted more money and that Vince didn't want to give him the money.
Well, Vince wanted him to take a pay cut, I think.
Right. Because he's like, I'm facing all the...
In the meantime, WCW made him an offer, and it was astronomically higher.
What is it, an offer that he couldn't refuse?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he couldn't refuse it financially. He's like, well, I got to take this money, Vince.
Yeah, but he ended up getting his head kicked off by Goldberg. So who really won that?
Yeah. He doesn't have a very illustrious career.
Yeah, but
Afterwards.
Undertaker's compression socks. He's back to gray here for the first time in a while after being purple for several years. But this is also the first time they mentioned that he's never lost at WrestleMania.
No, it was the second time they mentioned it. They mentioned it last.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
During 12.
Yeah. That Vince brought it up.
Mind.
That yeah, he's like that the Undertaker has yet to taste defeat at a WrestleMania.
Wow.
So they've been saying that also, if not on 11, I know for sure definitely 12.
Well, I mean, we see the Undertaker slam Sid, and I thought that was a grave decision.
Okay.
Oh.
So we have this match of big men. They're not meaty men, but they're big men.
There's a lot of slow moves and a lot of wrestling.
Yeah,
holds.
did you?
Jesus Christ.
Did you?
I normally, if I'd had more time, I would have done this. I would have broken out the stopwatch. It seems like that bear hug lasts forever.
Yeah.
And moreover, it seems like there's rest holds for a good quarter to a third of this match. Every time I see a bear hug, I always think of Mick Foley's first book, where he says, if you ever see wrestlers doing a bear hug, it means they can't think of anything else to do.
Wow.
And they almost immediately go to this bear hug. It seems to last for, I mean, realistically, it's probably like 90 seconds, but it seems like it's 5 minutes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, even though you're cheering for Psycho Sid here, Maria, what do you think about his skills inside the ring or like in this match?
I thought it was okay. I mean, we saw Sid do a tombstone pile driver, which is Undertaker's own move. All the crowd action that they had was cool. Undertaker finishes with the tombstone in this match is okay. I was dying to see this match, but the memory just leaves me haunted. I can't stop. So what did you guys think of this match?
I thought this match was okay. It's not. I still haven't seen that career defining match. Like if we're taking down Undertaker's best matches and like Undertaker, this is your life
his
in
best
wrestling.
years are ahead of him.
Yeah. So especially since after 2000, he has Undertaker is like in every single WrestleMania for like 18 years.
Damn, wasn't he part of like 21 of them total?
He's a part of 27 of them because his the end of his end of WrestleMania records ends up being 25 wins and 2 losses.
Oh, didn't we just see him recently too? He's still wrestling, or I feel like
I think he just saw it on TV.
On TV,
yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, as far as this match goes, like I was gonna mention, you have 2 big men, and normally now the new thing is big, sweetie, meaty men.
Sweetie,
sweaty, yeah, big, sweaty, meaty men. But we get the big man, and you expect like to have more physicality and more, more power moves and things like that. And like Doyle mentioned, we get bear hugs and like rest holds and wrist holds and all these other type of holds and the trapezes hold. Yeah, that's the one where
when you hold somebody by their traps.
No, that's the one where
it's like the Vulcan neck pinch.
Yeah, you get like a pinch, like you're just holding on to like the little neck of the shoulder area.
Yeah.
So that's what Rikishi has brought into the federation, the trapezes hold.
I was asking, I'm like, I think match 6 should have been like the final match.
Well, it was supposed to. They were supposed to give Bret Hart the belt, and then they ended up changing the booking because Stone Cold wanted to have, and that's the whole storyline that came in here. They ended up having where Bret Hart was facing Psycho Sid.
Right.
And The Undertaker wanted to face Psycho Sid for some reason for the title. So The Undertaker came to interfere in the match. And then Stone Cold also comes to interfere in the match because he wanted to have Bret Hart have the title.
Right.
So when they have the I Quit match, it would have been for the title.
Well, you were also saying that there is a title. So that's what was, the point of this match as well and why it was the last match.
Just because normally, traditionally, and the main event of WrestleMania is normally for the heavyweight championship.
Mm.
Unless Lawrence Taylor's on the card.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you, WrestleMania 11. So, do you recommend this match? Do you like the finish of this match?
I actually can say that I don't recommend this match. What do you guys think about it?
No, as I pointed out,
Oh,
this is
sucks.
nothing of note when it comes to revisiting or rethinking or like rolling back the best of the Undertaker's matches.
Right.
This isn't one that sticks out. Unfortunately, like for him, I think this is one of, if not the one of his second longest title runs that he has after this. Runs for like 180 days, so it's like 6 months. He doesn't have the title for that
Yeah, he has
long.
it till SummerSlam, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that I don't like these wrestlers. It's just it wasn't that great of a match, especially, the finale of a WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, I could have done without all the Bret Hart interference. I
Mhm.
would
Yeah.
like the Undertaker. I mean, it's his second reign, but the first one lasts like 5 days. So, and it's years ago at this point.
Right.
I kind of would have liked to have seen his first like real title reign.
Yeah, and
Be a
he only
little
has like four,
Yeah, he
five, or
didn't. I
six.
mean, he was a proverbial guy that didn't
Yeah.
need the belt, right?
Can we talk about the Undertakers on their names?
If you want to,
He
go
has
ahead.
so many. So we have Kane the Undertaker, Commando, Mark Callis, Mean Mark, Dice Morgan, the Master of Pain, the Punisher, Texas Red Jack, and the Undertaker as a finale.
I believe those were all either when he was in WCW or World Class Championship Wrestling. So
just like when I used to do graffiti and you're going through those random names, like what should be my name now? What will be my final name? Yeah, so I thought that
There's an
match was
urban legend surrounding this match. You guys
What
know
is
what that
it?
is? I guess if it's true, it's not an urban legend. Don't know if it's true or not. But there is quite a bit of scuttlebutt that during the tombstone to end the match,
Yeah.
that Sid shit his pants.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, people say that the Undertaker kind of pins him a little more awkwardly than usual, and he hightails it the fuck out of there the minute the match is over.
Wow.
I think
because
probably just an urban legend, but
he squished them.
No, he squished himself.
yeah,
Ooh.
that's it's out there. That's a rumor.
All
Only
right.
a rumor.
I'm so curious.
Well, on that note,
talk about a shitty day.
Let's go ahead and go our recommendations. So, Maria, for our viewers here, you have any favorite match or match recommendations of WrestleMania 13?
I do. If you're listening to this out in the where
in the podcast land and all major podcasts, or if you're watching this on our YouTube Live or Facebook Live.
Yeah. Also, just a thank you to what we found out that we have listeners were in the UK.
And we had Spreaker sent us statistics of our listeners. So if you are listening to this and you're from the UK or Canada,
thank you,
and please leave a review and share with other people in your country. Also, Canada, up in the Great White North, we had some listeners there too. So
I like that cartoon. Isn't it called The Great White North?
The Great North,
Is it The Great North? Have you seen it, Doyle?
And the one with
Dudley Do Right. Is that what you're
no, that's on Fox and their animation thing. It's from like the same animators from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, Bob's Burgers is awesome.
And then they have the cast of the guy who plays Ron Swanson, and I can't remember his name, but he plays a dad. And then they have the guy who plays MacGruber. I can't think of his Will Forte. I remember that guy, Will Forte voicing various characters. So it's just a family who lives in Alaska, and they just have misadventures there.
That's a lot of fun.
Don't think I'm familiar with it.
So with that, match 1, the Headbangers, Mosh, and Thrasher defeated Doug Furness, Lil LaFon, Blue Gear, the Godwins, Phineas with Hillbilly Jim. That's a mouthful, and the new Blackjacks.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can keep going, but that one at 10 minutes and 39 seconds is a favorite.
Oh, that's a favorite. Okay.
Match 2, just because it gets started and they're
Mhm.
really rowdy, really quick to get this WrestleMania going.
Mm-hmm.
And match 2, Rocky Maivia, The
Mhm.
Rock, Rocky Johnson defeated the Sultan Rikishi.
Mm-hmm.
With Bob Backlund somewhere in the back over there in the Iron Sheik via pinfall. Singles match for the WWF Intercontinental Championship at 9 minutes and 47 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Match 4 with Owen Hart and the British Bulldog, Mr. Davey Blue Boy Smith versus Mankind, who's
Okay.
a favorite of mine, Mr. McFoley and Vader with Paul Bearer.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed that match, 16 minutes and 8 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And my last one was match 5, Bret Hart defeating Stone Cold at 22 minutes and 5 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
is
had a
this
lot
your
of...
most
It is.
or tied for most of
Most recommendations.
WrestleMania recommendation
Wow.
matches?
Yeah, I really
Wow.
needed this pick-me-up because the last WrestleMania was kind of a dud for me, so.
Yeah, the last one only.
Couple should have been a dud for you. Don't worry, they're about to get really, really good.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So then, Doyle, we'll go ahead and go to you. Just anything else you want to add, or just want to recap over your favorite matches or recommended matches?
Well, I mean, of course, I got to recommend Bret Austin, probably my favorite match of all time. I didn't know there was a Bret Hart version of the commentary, so I'll have to check that out. But check that out and check out Austin talking about it too. Super inside baseball stuff if you're really nerdy about here's what we were gonna do. We tried something. But yeah, I'd look at the young Rock and young Triple H matches as well as anytime you get Owen Hart in the ring, you got to watch it, especially if it's with a younger Mick Foley. It's just an added bonus.
Right.
Yeah, I guess the same match as you said, pretty much.
For you were not a fan of the tag team, so
no.
And then as for me, I am a fan of a tag team match, but it's not the one that Maria is. I am also recommending that we watch the Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith versus Mankind and Big Van Vader, and the Stone Cold Steve Austin match and Bret Hart. Mostly, if not because of the way that the match goes, but pretty much what this match does to propel Stone Cold's career going forward. All right, and Doyle, have anything you want to plug before we go?
No, you can just find me on PCW Podcast Championship Wrestling. We should be having a recap of Crown Jewel sometime this week if I ever get around to watching it. And maybe I'll pop up here again. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, you're more than welcome to come back here and join us.
Also plug my kitten.
Oh, so cute.
I got a little cat now.
He's got a nice little cot there on the window.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah, and as for us, you are listening to us or watching us on our YouTube live page. We do plan on getting WrestleMania 14 out probably next Saturday. The time is to be announced. The audio version for this, I will be uploading this tomorrow, and it'll be available at 6 a.m. Please feel free to subscribe and share our Facebook page, our Revisiting the Mania. We are also on X, Twitter, Revisiting Mania, also on Threads and Blue Sky. Also,
why don't you just say where you aren't?
I know there's so many socials.
Well, I mean, we're not on Mastodon. So
what is? Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I just can't figure out how to make that one work. But, please continue watching and please subscribe. Also, before I go, we did have a giveaway for this, and the winner for the Funko Pop of the Hulk Hogan and Mr. T combination is the Rookie Network. So Rookie Network, reach out to me and give me your mailing address. We do plan to have another one soon. It'll probably be announced for our WrestleMania 14 podcast.
Very nice.
And And nothing else. Thank you very much for watching.
Oh, and like
Thanks for
Stone
having me,
Cold
guys.
says, yeah, thank you for coming on, Doyle. I can't wait to hopefully we get to revisit another Mania with you.
Maybe. And if not, we will see one in person.
That's
Yeah.
true. And like Stone Cold says, you want some ketchup with that ass whooping? That's all I got.